Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 7, International Class of Mathematics Education 2019. The members are me, Ernita. My student number is 410-141-9024. And my friend, Miss Bahul Bahri, his student number is 410-141-9055. Now, we are going to present section 3.2 about limit theorems. The first part, we are going to explain about definition 3.2.1, definition of bounded sequence. A sequence X equal X index n of real numbers is said to be bounded if there exists a real number m greater than 0 such that the absolute value of X index n less than or equal m for all n element natural number. Thus, the sequence X index n is bounded if and only if the set X index n such that an element natural number of its values is a bounded subset of real numbers. Next, 3.2.2 theorem said that a convergent sequence of real numbers is bounded. Proof: suppose that limit X index n equal X and let epsilon equal 1. Then there exists a natural number K equal K1 such that the absolute value of X index n minus X less than 1 for all n greater than or equal K. If we apply the triangle inequality with n greater than or equal K, we obtain the absolute value of X index n like this. Then if we set m such that supremum of the set the absolute value of x1, the absolute value x2, till the absolute value of x index k minus 1, 1 plus the absolute value of x, then it follows that the absolute value of x less than or equal m for all n element natural number. Next, 3.2.3 theorem said that A, let x equal x index n, and y equal y index n be sequence of real numbers that converge to x and y, respectively. And let's see elementary real numbers. Then, the sequence x plus y, x minus y, x times y, and cx converge to x plus y, x minus y, xy, and cx respectively. B, if x equal x index n converges to x and z equal z index n is a sequence of non-zero real numbers that converges to z, and if z is not equal to 0, then the equation sequence x over z converges to x over z. Next, for the proof of theorem 3.2.3, A. To show that limit x index n plus y index n equal x plus y, we need to estimate the magnitude of the absolute value of index x index n plus y index n minus x plus y. To do this, we use the triangle inequality 2.2.3 to obtain the absolute value of x index n plus y index n minus x plus y like this. Then by hypothesis, if epsilon greater than 0, there exists k1 element natural number such that if n greater than or equal k1, then the absolute value of x index n minus x less than epsilon over 2. Also, there exists k2 element natural numbers such that if n greater than or equal k2, then the absolute value of y index n minus y less than epsilon over 2. Hence, if k epsilon equals supremum of the set k1, k2, it follows that if n greater than or equal k epsilon, then we get the inequalities like this, we get epsilon. Since epsilon greater than 0 is arbitrary, we infer that x plus y equal x index n plus y index n converges to x plus y. Precisely the same argument can be used to show that x minus y equal x index n minus y index n converges to x minus y. Next, to show that x multiplied with y equal x index n y index n converges to xy, we make the estimate like this. The absolute value of x index n y index n minus xy equal, then we get the absolute value of x index n, the absolute value of the absolute value y index n minus y, plus the absolute value of x index n minus x, y. Then according to theorem 3.2.2, there exists a real number m1 greater than 0 such that the absolute value of x index n less than or equal m1 for all n element natural number. And we set m equals supremum of the set m1, comma, the absolute value of y. Hence we have the absolute value of x index and y index n minus xy less than or equal m, the absolute value of y index n minus y, plus m, the absolute value of x index n minus x. Then from the convergence of x and y, we conclude that if epsilon greater than 0 is given, then there exists k1, k2 element natural numbers such that if n greater than or equal k1, then the absolute value of x index n minus x less than epsilon over 2m. And if n greater than or equal k2, then the absolute value of y index n minus y less than epsilon over 2m. Now let k epsilon equal supremum the set of k1, k2. Then if n greater than or equal k epsilon, we infer that the absolute value of x index n, y index n minus xy less than or equal m, absolute value of y index n minus y, plus m, the absolute value of x index n minus x, less than m times epsilon over 2m plus m times epsilon over 2m, and we get epsilon. Since epsilon is greater than 0 is arbitrary, this proves that the sequence x times y equal x index n, y index n converges to xy. The fact that cx equals cx index n converges to cx can be proved in the same way. Next, for the 3.2.3 theorem, for the proof in part B, we make sure that if z equal z index n is a sequence of non-zero numbers that converges to a non-zero limit z. Then the sequence 1 over z index n of reciprocal converges to 1 over z. First, let alpha equal 1 over 2, the absolute value of z, so that alpha greater than 0. Since limit z index n equals z, there exists k1 element natural number such that if n greater than or equal k1, then the absolute value of z index n minus z less than alpha. It follows from corollary 2.2.4 in part A of the triangle inequality that minus alpha less than or equal minus absolute value of z index n minus z less than or equal the absolute value of z index n minus the absolute value of z for n greater than or equal k1. Therefore, 1 over the absolute value of z index n less than or equal 2 over the absolute value of z for n greater than or equal k1. So we have the estimate like this for all n greater than or equal k1. Now, if epsilon greater than 0 is given, there exists k2 element natural number such that if n greater than or equal k2, then the absolute value of z index n minus z less than 1 over 2 times epsilon times the absolute value of z power by 2. Therefore, it follows that if k epsilon equals supremum of k1 comma k2, then we get the absolute value of 1 over z index n minus 1 over z less than epsilon for all n greater than x epsilon. For all n greater than k epsilon. Since epsilon greater than 0 is arbitrary, it follows that limit 1 over z index n equal 1 over z. The proof of B is now completed by taking y to be the sequence 1 over z index n and using the fact that x times y equal x index n over z index n converges to x times 1 over z equal x over z. Next theorem, 3.2.4 theorem say that if x equal x index n is a convergent sequence of real numbers, and if x index n greater than or equal 0 for all n element natural number, then x equal limit x index n greater than or equal 0. For the proof, suppose the conclusion is not true and the x less than 0, then epsilon equal negative x is positive. Since x converges to x, there is k element natural number such that x minus epsilon less than x index n less than x plus epsilon for all n greater than or equal k. In particular, we have x index k less than x plus epsilon equal 0. But this contradicts the hypothesis that x index n greater than or equal 0 for all n element natural number. Therefore, this contradiction implies that x greater than or equal 0. Next, 3.2.5 theorem said that if x equal x index n and y equal y index n are convergent sequences of real numbers, and if x index n less than or equal y index n for all n element natural number, then limit x index n less than or equal limit y index n. For the following proof, let z index n equal y index n minus x index n, so that z equal z index n equal y minus x, and z index n greater than or equal 0 for all n element natural number. It follows that theorems 3.2.3 and 3.2.4 that 0 less than or equal limit z equal limit y index n minus limit x index n. So the limit x index n less than or equal limit y index n. Okay, for the next theorem will be explained by Misbahul Bahri. Please, Misbahul Bahri, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ernita. For 3.2.6 theorem, if x equal to x index n is a convergent sequence, and if a equal less than or equal x index n and less than or equal b for all n element of natural number, then a less than or equal limit of x index n less than or equal b. For the proof, let y be the constant sequence b, k, etc. Theorem 3.2.5 implies that limit of x less than or equal limit of y equal to b. Similarly, one shows that a less than or equal limit of x. For 3.2.7, about squeeze theorem says that suppose that x equal to x index n, y equal to y index n, and z equal to z index n are sequence for real numbers such that x index n less than or equal y index n less than or equal z index n for all n element of natural number, and that limit of x index n equal to limit of z index n, then y equal to y index n is convergent and limit of x index n equal to limit of y index n equals to limit of z index n. For the proof, let w is equal to limit of x index n equal to limit of z index n if epsilon greater than 0 is given, then it follows from the convergence of x and z to w that there exists a natural number k such that if n greater than or equal k, then the absolute value of x index n minus w less than or epsilon less than epsilon, and the absolute value of z index n minus w less than epsilon. Since the hypothesis implies that x index n minus w less than or equal y index n minus w less than or equal z index n minus w for all n element of natural number. It follows that minus epsilon less than y index n minus w less than epsilon for all n greater than or equal k. Since a since epsilon greater than 0 is arbitrary, this implies that limit of y index n equal to w. For 3.2.8 examples, a. The sequence of n is divergent. It follows from theorem 3.2.2 that if the sequence x is equal to n is convergent, then there exists a real number n greater than 0 such that n equal to the absolute value of n less than n for all n element of a natural number. But this violates the Archimedean property 2.4.3. And, and for B, the sequence of negative 1 power n is divergent. The sequence x equal to negative 1 power n is bounded like m equal to 1. So we cannot invoke theorem 3.2.2. However, assume that a equal to limit of x exists, let epsilon equal to 1 so that there exists a natural number k1 such that negative 1 power n, the absolute value of negative 1 power n minus a less than 1 for all 1 greater than or equal k1. If n is an odd natural number with n greater than or equal k1, this gives the absolute value of negative 1 minus a less than 1 so that negative 2 less than a less than 0. On the other hand, if n is an even natural number with n greater than or equal k1, this inequality gives the absolute value of 1 minus a less than 1 so that 0 less than a less than 2. Since a cannot satisfy both of this inequality, the hypothesis that x is convergent leads to a contradiction. Therefore, the sequence x is divergent. For 3.2.8 example C, the limit of 2n plus 1 over n equal to 2. If we let x is equal to and y equal to 1 over n, then 2n plus 1 over n equal to x plus y. Hence, it follows from theorem 3.2.3a that limit of x plus y equal to limit of x plus limit y equal to 2 plus 0 equals 2. For D, limit 2n plus 1 over n plus 5 equal to 2. Since the sequence 2n plus 1 and n plus 5 are not convergent, it is not possible to use theorem 3.2.3b directly. However, if we write 2n plus 1 over n plus 5 equals 2 plus of 1 over n over 1 plus 5 over n. We can obtain the given sequence as 1 to which theorem 3.2.3b applies when we take x equals to 2 plus 1 over n and z equals 1 plus 5 over n such that all hypotheses are satisfied. Since limit of x equal 2 and limit z equals 1 is not equal 0, we deduce that limit of 2n plus 1 over n plus 5 equals 2 over 1 equals 2. For example A, limit of 2n over n power n square plus 1 equal to 0. Theorem 3.2.3b does not apply directly. We note that 2n over n squared plus 1 equals to 2 over n plus 1 over n. But theorem 3.2.3b does not apply here either because n plus 1 over n is not a convergent sequence. However, if we write 2n over n squared plus 1 equals to 2 power n over 1 over plus 1 over n squared, then we can apply theorem 3.2.3b since limit of 2 over n equals to 0 and limit of 1 plus 1 over n squared equal to 1 is not equal to 0. Therefore, limit of 2n over n squared plus 1 equals to 0 over 1 equals to 0. For the example f, limit of sinus n over n equals to 0. We cannot apply theorem 3.2.3b directly since the sequence n is not convergent. Neither is the sequence sinus n. It does not appear that a simple algebraic manipulation will enable us to reduce the sequence into one to which theorem 3.2.3 would apply. However, if we need the main negative 1 less than or equal to sinus n less than or equal 1, then it follows that negative 1 over n less than or equal sinus n over n less than or equal 1 over n for all n element of natural number. Hence, we can apply the Squeeze theorem 3.2.7 to infer that limit of n power negative 1 sinus n equals to 0. For the example key, let x equal to x index n be a sequence of real number that converts to x element of real number. Let p be a polynomial. For example, let pt is equal to a index k x index k t power k plus a index k minus 1 a power k minus 1 plus blah 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 after 1 plus a index 1 t plus a index 0 where k is the element of natural number and a index g is element of real number. For g is equal 1 to up to k. It follows from theorem 3.2.3 that the sequence px index n converts to px. For the example x, let x equals to x index n be a sequence of real number that converts to x element of real number. Let r be a rational function, that is, rt equals to pt over kt, where p and q are polynomials. Suppose that kx index n is not equal to 0 for all n element of natural number and that kx is not equal to 0. Then the sequence Rx index n converts to Rx equal to Px over Px. Theorem 3.2.9 says that let the sequence equals to x index n converts to x, then the sequence of absolute value x index n of absolute value converts to absolute value of x. That is, if x equal to limit of x index n, then the absolute value of x equal to limit of the absolute value of x index n. For the proof, it follows from the triangle inequality, the corollary 2.2.4a, that the absolute value of x index n minus the absolute value of x less than or equal the absolute value of x index n minus x for all n element of natural number. The convergence of the absolute value of x index n to the absolute value of x is then an immediate consequence of the convergence of x index n to x. 3.2.10 theorem say that let x equal to x index n be a sequence of real numbers that converge to x, and suppose that x index n greater than or equal 0, then the sequence of the square root of x index n of positive square roots converge, and limit of the square root of x index n equal to the square root of x. For the proof, it follows from theorem 3.2.4 that x equals to limit of x index n greater than or equal 0. So the assertion makes sense. We now consider the two cases. The first is x equal to 0 and the second is x greater than 0. Case 1. If x equal to 0, let epsilon greater than 0 be given. Since x index n approaches 0, there exists a natural number k such that if n greater than or equal k, then 0 less than or equal x index n equal x index n minus 0 less than epsilon square. Therefore, see example 2.1.13a. 0 is greater 0 less than or equal the square root of x index n less than epsilon for n greater than or equal k. Since epsilon greater than 0 is arbitrary, this implies that the square root of x index n approaches 0. For the case 2, if x greater than 0, then the square root of x greater than 0, and we note that the square root of x index n minus the square root of x equal to the square root of x index n minus the square root of x times the square root of x index n plus the square root of x over the square root of x n plus the square root of x equal to the x index n minus x over the square root of x index n plus the square root of x. Since the square root of x index n plus the square root of x is greater than or equal the x squared of x greater than 0, it follows that the absolute value of the square root of x index n minus the square root of x less than or equal 1 over the square root of x times the absolute value of x index n minus x. The convergence of the square root of x index n approaches to the square root of x follows from the fact that x index n approaches x. For the 3.2.11 theorem, say that let x index n be a sequence of positive real numbers such that L equals to limit of x index n plus 1 over x index n exists. If L less than 1, then x index n converges to n limit x index n equal to 0. For the proof, by 2.3 by 3.2.4 theorem, it follows that L greater than or equal 0, let R be a number such that L less than R less than 1, and let epsilon equal to R minus L greater than 0. There exists a number k element of natural number such that if n greater than or equal k, then the absolute value of x index n plus 1 over x index n minus L greater less than epsilon. It follows from this that if n greater than or equal k, then xn plus x index n plus 1 over x index n less than L plus epsilon equal to L plus R minus L equal to L. Therefore, if n greater than or equal k, we obtain 0 less than x index n plus 1 less than x index n r less than x index n minus 1 l square less than blah 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 until less than x index k r power n minus k plus 1. If we set c equals to x index k over r power k, we see that 0 is less than x index n. We see that 0 less than x index n plus 1 less than c times r power n plus 1 for all n greater than or equal k. Since 0 less than r less than 1, it follows from 3.1.11b that limit of r power n equal to 0. And therefore, from theorem 3.1.10, that limit of x index n equal to 0. As an illustration of the utility of preceding theorem, consider the sequence x index n given by x index n equal to n power n over 2 power n. We have x index n plus 1 over x index n equal to 1 plus equals n plus 1 over 2 power n plus 1 times 2 power n over n equals to a half times 1 plus 1 over n. So that limit of x index n plus 1 over x index n equal to a half. Since a half is less than 1, it follows from theorem 3.2.11 that limit of n power 2 power n equal to 0. So that's all for our presentation. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.